like little feathers, and just a little bit of, here we go, just like that there. And let's come here. As I told you, this is not to show you a better way of doing Doug's bird. The way he did it is perfect. It's just showing you how to use a different form of wood rather than just a dowel to use it, in other words. Okay. Now let me get my V-tool. But you see what we have here? Now he's a lot wider. He's kind of a lot wider looking than the Cardinal necessarily, but that's because of the series of cuts that I have made for that. Let me get my do this a little bit different, and I'm gonna bring this down just a little bit. And like I said, you can make the tail much longer, and it probably is too short of a tail for him, but that's all right. It's not a big thing. We're not going for realism, we're going for decoration. Let me find my, here we go, here's my V-tool. So I'm just going to go behind here, and I'm going to run my V-tool across there, and my V-tool across there, and then I'm going to come up in here and run my V-tool here. So you give that kind of a little mark here. Now the good thing about it is we can make, you don't necessarily have to do a Cardinal, you can make a little, any kind of a little bird in that sense. And then from the eyes, I'm just going to use, I'm going to come on each side of the eye and make a little, just a little thing like this. In other words, I want to make sure my eyesight, I'm going to tell you what, when I start making eyes, I have to be careful because my eyesight is not good. It's getting worse, and I'm just going to use my V-tool to make a little cut like this. That's all, and make one here. And I know Doug put the little eyeballs in it and all that other stuff, but I'm just going to do this little number like this, in other words, for it. Okay, now here's another little idea. And so if you look at your little bird, in other words, it's got a, it really does have a kind of a flat plane look to it, in other words, and I guess that's because of the way that I carve. I'm just, you know, it's a matter of just straight cuts all the way, in other words, as we go. But oh yeah, I want to come here and I want to make a couple of cuts right there and a couple of cuts right there. Okay, now as you can see, the shape of the piece, I'm gonna bring that down just a little bit more, and a little bit more there, in other words. Okay, now what you can also do with, since you do this on the corners and everything like that, and you can still do this with the dowel, but let's just come right about right here and make a line, and let's make a cut just like that, and come just above it and make another little cut Okay. And let's go ahead and just draw us a little mustache right there. And let's cut that from the outside and make us right there, and cut from the outside and make that right there, and then cut down, and make us a little mustache right there. And by using this corner here, we can make us a little, and we'll come here and make us the little cut down. Now, I don't do a lot of wood spirits, or as we say, I don't do a whole lot of them. I'm not the best at them. As I mean, Doug has become, he's become just beautiful at his wood spirits and his wood faces, and he loves to do them, and he's just doing an excellent, superb job of them. I'll tell you what. And I am just, man, so proud to watch that man do what he can do. So here's your little, so on the tree underneath him, you know, somebody has carved a little. Now then take and go from the sides here, take your thing and bring it down from the sides here. So you can basically carve anything. Okay, now let's come down a little bit here and cut in a little bit up here, just to kind of, and I'm just gonna kind of bring I'm just going to kind of cut up like that and cut down and come here and cut there. All I'm doing is cutting a little there we go. I do a diamond shape a lot of times when I do something. Do. Okay. And all we're doing here is just basically just having a little, like a little face on the you take a little bit more out right in here. And on the other side just a little bit. so it just looks like somebody tried to carve a little something. On the face here. Okay. And then we're just going to run a little cut across there. Okay? Not going to be anything fancy. And we'll bring that down there like that. See? That's all we're doing. Now, let me come up a little bit right here. I tell you what, I'm gonna be sorry if my eyes get too much to get worse, and I'm gonna have to get me some new glasses too. I think it may be the issue. You know, when you're old, I'm 70 years old now, and I haven't really had any too much eye problems, but you know, let's just be honest with you. If you're 70 years old or older and you don't really have any eye problems or have to wear glasses, consider yourself blessed. Because I'll tell you what, I think I was around 40 something when I started noticing that my eyes were kind of getting dim, or I was having to hold that newspaper a lot further from you. Okay. All right. Well, let me take that V tool, and we're just going to kind of run a little bit of that. This is just a little decoration. You don't have to do this. This is just a little something that you can add to the bird. And as you can see, my bird is in a lot of it's a lot of flat, straight ways that it's made, in other words, so it's a lot different. But the dowel is a perfect way to do it. But even Doug, as he was doing it with the dowel, he was talking about how hard that wood is sometimes, and it intimidates a beginner a lot of times when they start using hardwood. They just give up, and you don't have to do that. Don't give up. Just keep going and learning and learning your sharpening. Learn to sharpen correctly on your stuff. And so, okay, well, and you can do anything to the trunk of the thing. You know, it's just okay, see that? Make that a little bit thicker in there where somebody carved a little face into the trunk of the tree. We're not going to go to great lengths or detail on that face. We're just going to give it kind of a look. So all that's going on here is just showing you how that you can use. Let's take a little bit more. Oh, I didn't do the tail. I'm sorry, I didn't do the design on the tail. There's not much design, as we say. I just take it and take my V tool and hit it like that. And so that's all there is to that. So just kind of hitting that a little bit like that. And take my V tool and just kind of give it a little of that number. And well, I tell you what, I think it's just about finished. Okay, and then I'm going to show you what first of all I'm going to wet it for you, and I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to show you what they look like when you do them. Okay, when they're painted, you can paint them different ways and means, and you can also paint them to look like cardinals and things like that. So let me wet it, and then I'll show you some examples of what, if I can get up. Heck, getting old. Don't sit on your knife, Gene. That would be liable to lose something that you might need later. But okay. All right. Well, we have wetted this little jewel, and we'll take a little bit of sandpaper and we'll just hit it a little bit. But as you can see, there you go. There's a nice little picture. Now let me show you. Here's one I did out of butternut. This is done out of butternut, and I sprayed it. And butternut's pretty. It's like it's from the walnut family, and this is done out of butternut. Okay. And here's the similar to the Cardinal, but I just painted him. I just painted him red, and then I took some black and I just dry brushed him like that, in other words. But as you can see, it does have a different look than Doug's, because it's much wider and it's much more cutting like that. And so I was just trying a number of things to. Now all you got to do is add the dark face of the Cardinal, and you've got a Cardinal, in other words, and the beak a little bit more. But I was just coloring some things. Here's one that I used, that I made with the yellow and with the white streaks, in other words. These are just ideas that you can do. You don't have to necessarily always make the Cardinal. And here is a perfect example of the little weathered carved face on the log that the bird is sitting on. And this is a little cute one. This is done with blue paint with white streaks and the little yellow beak. And you can just make a variety of these things as you work with them and everything. So basically, you know, it's just you can use the best thing I feel is the dowel. But if you're having trouble with the hardwood of the dowel, in other words, then you can use a block of 1 inch by 1 inch basswood and use the corners, and you can create, you know, like I said. Now, and I'm not going to go into, like I said, I'm not going to go into how to turn the bird. to make it look like it's turning. These are mostly straight on, but you do that with the tail to make it look like it's you know, leaning. And so you go back to Doug's video and you watch how he does that. This is not sorry, as I told you, this is not a lesson in improving Doug's bird, because you can improve it. It's wonderful the way he does it. This is just to help people who are struggling with doing with the dowel, the hardness of the dowel. People that are just started carving, people that haven't been carving that long and have trouble learning how to sharpen. And I want to tell you something. There's nothing more important than to learn and let somebody help you if you have trouble sharpening, because even with basswood you will struggle with it, but you won't struggle with it as much. But don't substitute basswood for not learning how to sharpen, okay? You know, even when it comes to hardwoods, you know, you can use them in such a way. So here we go. We're in good shape now. This is our little piece that we did from basswood. Well, I want to thank Doug so much for the idea of learning how to carve these little birds. And you can make a variety of them. I mean, you know, his Cardinal is wonderful. And I did not show you, like I said, I did not show you the way that you turn the bird, turn him where it looks like he's in an angle. Let Doug show you that with his video. I have carved some with their beaks turned, you know, with their selves turned, but that's not what this lesson is about. It's simply about learning that you can use a block of wood to make these birds, okay? You just go at a little bit different approach to it, and maybe that will help you in some way. All right, well, God bless you now, and take care, and I hope everything carves safely and do what's right. And I'll still show you another picture as these little birds that you can do. And you know,